I was in New York, living in Brooklyn. The temple was in Brooklyn on Henry Street. And I was coming every week and loving it. I loved the feast, I loved the kirtans, and I was hearing a little bit of philosophy every week, once a week on Sunday. And I liked it, but I didn't think I would join. Because when I first went to the temple, they convinced me to spend the night. I should say they coerced me to spend the night. They wouldn't take no for an answer. And I spent the night. I liked them, on the whole. I met them on the streets in 42nd Street or something. I went to the temple, they fed me prasadam and talked to me, one devotee talked to me. And then they asked me if I'd like to do some devotional service. And that was a combination of words I'd never heard before. Devotional service. So I asked, what is that? They say, do some service for Krishna. I said, sure. I thought, you fed me? I should reciprocate. So they took me outside in the backyard, and there was an old broken down fountain, a concrete fountain, big fountain, fill up this area. And it was cracked across the middle. And they said to me, we want to remove this fountain from here because it's not working. And we want the space, we want to have plays in the summertime out here in the backyard. It's grass, lawn. So they said, can you help us? And I said, sure. How? Then they handed me a pickaxe. And I was young, I was 21, 20, And when you're that young, it's fun to destroy something, right? So I began swinging the pickaxe, and I swung that pickaxe all afternoon. I demolished that fountain into pieces that you could lift up and take away. And while I'm doing it, every now and then a different devotee would come by and see me working so hard, swinging the pickaxe. And they would say, Jai. And of course I didn't know what that meant. But afterwards I realized they were happy seeing me engaged like this. They probably all knew that it won't be long before he joins. So they convinced me to spend the night. When it was like 9 o'clock at night, I'm ready to go home. And they said, you don't have to go. You can spend the night. And I said, no, I got to go home. No, you don't. No, I have to go home. No, you don't. They were like this, I was living with just my mother alone in an apartment in Brooklyn. So when I see that they're not taking no for an answer, I said, let me call her. So they took me to the phone. I called my mother and I said, Ma, I'm not coming home tonight. She immediately gets worried because this is New York. I am pretty new. I just got off the boat, you could say, She said, well, who are you going to spend the night with? I said, some friends, because I'm looking at the devotees and I'm thinking, how can I explain them to her? She wouldn't understand it. So I said, I'm staying with some friends. And she said, you have no friends. You just got here. I said, I got some friends. And she couldn't understand. She said, is it a girl? I said, no, Ma, it's not a girl. Then who is it? I said, I'll explain you in the morning when I come. Don't worry. She said, I hope you're not doing any drugs. No, there's definitely no drugs here. So I spent the night. And then they came to wake me up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And because I had never swung a pickaxe in my life, and I had been swinging it all afternoon. In the morning, my whole body was aching. Not just my hands, my legs too, because you use all the muscles when you're swinging a pickaxe, you know, even here, everywhere was in pain. And they wouldn't let me sleep. I'm like saying, hey guys, have a heart. I'm tired and I'm sore from swinging that pickaxe. They didn't want to hear that. You got to get up. So I made it up and I went downstairs and I got through the morning program. They gave me some beads, taught me how to chant. And I'm so tired, I would go sit down in the temple and lean up against the wall. And of course I would nod out, start nodding. And they would come over and say, get up. You can't see. Anyway, I made it through the morning. Then they give me prasadam, breakfast. And I told them, okay, I'm going home. I got to go. And when I left, I knew that I would come back to visit, but I knew I'm not going to move in and live with them like the way they live. So then after a few months or something, I came to the Sunday feast, and they told me, Prabhupada's coming, he's at the airport. No, I didn't know who Prabhupada was. Everyone was always saying, Prabhupada said this, Prabhupada said this, Prabhupada said that. Every facet of life, they had, Prabhupada said something about it. And that's how they lived, you know. And that, to a newcomer, an outsider, you noticed that and you thought, that's pretty a little odd. But anyway, he's coming. So I thought, well, I'll get a chance to see and hear him. So I went in the temple room and I sat close to the Vyasasan, so I can have a ringside seat. Like, if he's sitting there, I was there. And I thought, I'm going to sit here and nobody's going to move me, and I'll catch every word. And Prabhupada came and he spoke. And I was glued. I was just, when I left the temple that night, all I could think was, I'm going to have to join. All the reasons why I wasn't going to, they weren't so important anymore. You know, rising early, shaved heads, and all this stuff. Those were all reasons I was thinking why I wouldn't join. But when you hear Prabhupada, I was convinced. I thought, I'll probably never meet anyone like him again. My assessment of him was, he was the real deal, you know. He was so pure, so knowledgeable, and he had it all. He was a complete package. In his talk, his lecture, he made you laugh for a moment. He just explained. So then it took me a few months, maybe 2-3 months more, before I actually made up my mind, quit my job, moved in the temple.